We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What up, bro?
And I ain't never seen this hat before.
Man, I've been had this hat for a minute, bro. It's it's Thunder Up always. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I've been had this one for a minute. Man, there's a Thunder NBA Thunder shop site, and bro, they had every you could check almost weekly. They would have new hats for $10, and so this is one of them ones that was $10. I got like 5 or 6 hats, bro. That was $10. Not all at the same time, but I would just go back and get them. And people be like, yo, like where you get that one from? Where you get? I'm like, man, I paid $10, and then they go look it up, and now it's like $40. So yeah.
Mm,
Hey, bro, let me
yeah.
quick question. Have you heard of Nate Jackson, the comedian?
Uh, Nate Jackson, the comedian. Yes. And here, you know what's funny? This is the one thing that I'll tell you about Nate Jackson. Um, I find him funnier than I remember him being on Wild 'N Out.
Well, he was on the Breakfast Club, and I've
Yeah.
known him well before the Breakfast Club. But he was on the Breakfast Club, and he explained. He said, "Man, listen, when I only had 4 episodes on the Breakfast Club, he said I had
On Wild 'N Out, you're saying.
yeah on Wild 'N Out, my bad." And
Okay.
he said the 4 episodes I had, he said I had the Erica Badu episode, which he got in trouble for. He had I can't think of the other ones, but there were some big name episodes. But he was like, they basically told him he looked too old. And then the episodes he was on, Nick wanted to do more rap stuff and less comedic stuff. So he ain't really get to shine. So he only got 4 episodes. But I mean, his grind, bro, has been so dope because obviously I found him from the crowd work. And then him and Gary Owen had a podcast together. I used to watch that. And then now his Netflix special just came out. So
I didn't see the Netflix special, but
yeah, his
listen,
Netflix.
I'm gonna tell you what I this is the one thing I think that maybe this is like part of his brand of comedy. And I
Mhm.
saw Gary Owens kind of start to tap into this. Ooh, excuse me. Tap into this a little bit more lately. But I love how Nate Jackson works the crowd. Like he
Yeah.
really it's like it feels like he goes out there and kind of have a couple things that he want to talk about, but he interacts with the crowd so much that most of the segments that I've seen from him that I enjoy are based off of his interaction with the crowd. Bro, I think he's dope.
No. So every month he does crowd work, and that's all it is. It's no. So he says, listen, my rules are number one, I can't do material. I can only talk about the stuff that's happened today. Number two, if I look at you and you look me in my eyes, it's fair game for me to go in on you. If you turn away, then I'll move on. He said, now listen, if you look at me and I look at you and we lock eyes and I start going in on you and you don't like what I'm saying, you don't get to call it off after that. Like once we lock eyes, it's a wrap. And he said, number
Right.
three, y'all don't be sensitive for nobody else. If I'm going in on somebody, they ask for it. This is what they here for. So yeah, I've been watching him for years, bro. And
I saw him go in on a girl who was deaf, right? And he was going on the girl was deaf, and he was like, "Hey, that's what you came here for, right?" And I
yeah,
thought that it's very consistent. But now, man, like there are certain people who, to be quite honest, I certainly appreciate how you can be so engaging with no material and you're just going. Everything's on the fly. You basically are freestyling, though, bro. I thought it. Listen, I haven't seen him do, and maybe it's because I'm only seeing for the most part
Clips.
the
Yeah.
clips that are out there. So
Right,
you're
right,
going to put the good stuff out there, but I've never seen him and thought, oh, he's whack. And I think he's pretty funny, but I wouldn't have gotten that from his episodes on Wild 'N Out though at all, though, man.
yeah, yeah. So here's the thing. His Netflix special is everything. Like it's his comedy plus the crowd work. And so you getting the whole gambit. What I like though is because he's been very open and honest about his health journey. Like, of course, like I said, I watch him and Gary Owens' podcast. I haven't, I want to watch his podcast personally. I haven't done that yet. So that's next on my list. I was sick. I'm talking sick because he came to Oklahoma City and I didn't get the chance to go. I would have loved to have gone to see him just because, like I said, I've feel like that I've been watching him for so long that I'm like, yeah, I'm a fan of this dude, and I really wanted to support, but unfortunately, it was during the time when Sarah was in the hospital, so I couldn't make the move. But yeah, man, he's dope, man. He's a giving dude. He can sing a little bit, and he's dope. But yeah, his comedy special is on Netflix, bro. Just came out recently.
There's like, listen, there are like two or three guys who I saw first online that I certainly like to see their clips. Like I think that the boy, it's my boy Ali Sadiq.
yeah, yep,
Sadiq, I think he's fantastic. I saw
yes.
him first on through social media. There's this other fairly young dude, little slim black kid though, man. He looks like he's every bit of 20 years
I know
old
who
though,
you're talking
man.
about. He's
Yeah.
on the Daily Show right now. Uh, uh, Jonathan, what is his name? He is hosting the day.
Listen,
He wears the hoodie,
he's
the gray hoodie.
yes, he's hilarious, bro. I
Yeah.
think that he's very cool though, man. And then
Justin
there's
Johnson,
also this. What's that?
I think it's Justin Johnson.
That's him. It sounds familiar. There's him, and then there's also this fairly, I think he's middle aged, this Mexican dude. I don't see very many young Mexican comedians though, man. But I saw his clips, and like I said, every time I see him, I think they're hilarious though, man. So it's I think that they're good. I think that what I like about them is that I think that they have storytelling and they engage the crowd as part of their work though, bro. And I find that to be very incredible though, man.
Josh Johnson, that's his name.
Josh Johnson. Yes,
Josh
yes, yes,
Johnson.
yeah.
And the dude you
Very
talking about is I can't think of his name. I know who you talking about too. He got a
he
little
has
bitty
a
mustache.
special also. Yeah. He got a special also though.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. I like him more on YouTube than I did his special.
See,
Yeah,
yeah,
his
I can see
special,
that.
yeah, his special wasn't as great to me. Josh Johnson, what I respect about him is because every time you see him, every clip that you see about him on YouTube, he's talking about the most current event.
Yeah,
And so I think that's phenomenal that he can get up there and just riff. And I know he writes, but I'm saying like he is built for like that late night talk show because
absolutely.
he talks current events. And his delivery is great. So it's good for white people and black people. Like he's pretty universal. Yeah. Josh is dope. Yeah. Shout out to the comedians.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, shout out to that boy Boney the Cockaroo. He
That's
doing his
right.
thing. And listen, you know
Coming
what's
back to
funny? This is
Oklahoma
what
City too.
Yeah, so listen, I'm gonna be honest with you though, bro. Like I've watched he's come a long way, bro.
Yeah.
Like a long way. And I say that to say not that he was ever whack, but I think
No.
that what I look at is I say that he's come a long way in terms of the pursuit. Me and you just kind of knew him as this guy who we thought was personally funny. And it was just like to see that other people are enjoying and him establishing his brand of comedy, though, bro. I think that is real dope. I'm happy for him. Like I see him. He's making a lot of moves, and I certainly have had my eye on all of them, though, man. So shout out to the bad guy, though, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get this music popping off and get into everything.
Let's do it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast. The greatest podcast
If you
of all time.
smell what the rock it doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast. The greatest podcast of all time.
Listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys is doing a thing. Ace Kennedy. Don't forget to check out your boys' TikTok page because we getting that popping as well. Listen, I saw that today, man, that Dion announced that he is cancer free. Said he had some type of tumor that they removed, though, bro.
Yeah. Super glad that obviously of the news. Of course, people were speculating that maybe he was gonna step down for some reason, but you know, he's been very open and honest about pretty much all of his health issues that he's had, you know, when he was going through the toe stuff. And so yeah, I'm very happy for him and his family on, you know, him being cancer free. And you know, hopefully he can just get back to coaching and doing what he loves to do, and then you know, instilling these kids how to be men.
Let me say what I thought was funny though, bro. And I don't know how true this is. I thought that the thing that got me the most, they say, yeah, well, Dion, they said something that Dion apparently is dating Carucci. And they said when she was by his side, and I had to go ahead. I wanted to double check that before we hopped on. No man, I was like, "Yo, not that it would make a difference, but isn't that something though, bro? Like,
You made the enemy of that boy Chris Breezy.
listen, man, I think that is the thing because Chris Brown and I don't know, man. I remember she was with Chris Brown. She was with the homeboy who played for the Giants, I think. That the what's my man who did the salsa out this Victor Cruz.
Yeah.
And I just thought that Deion Sanders, I don't know how old she is, but that's a pretty big span because Deion's like 57 years old or something like that, 52 or something. And so to be going from the 50s to the 30s, it's the question of this though, bro, right? We always kind of go to this one uh every time it comes up, but the age, right? The span, is he within the window? Because that's well outside of like to me. If
Yeah.
you 50, I can see you going 15 down,
I
right?
mean, here's my thing,
No,
bro.
I guess not so bad. She's 37. So I guess
Yeah.
that's fair game.
Yeah, it's fair game. She almost 40 and he almost 60. So, you know, I I don't know, bro. I just think after a certain point, you know, and a woman matures supposedly earlier than a man anyway. So, you know, it depends on the two. You know what I'm saying? Because like now the whole Belichick, what he like 73 and he got him a 24-year-old or something like that.
Yes.
So you know what I'm saying?
So Dion's 20 years older than her. She's 37. He's 57,
Yeah.
right?
The only thing, and if, you know how people are gonna do, they're gonna be like, "Oh, and he was 20, she wasn't even born." Like, but
To
he,
me, this is my thing. I think this is just my belief. I think now that I'm looking at it a little bit more, I think that 35 is safe area. So and this is gonna be crazy. I guess within reason. I still think that if you're 60, this is the way I still think about a conversation that we had, and
hmm
I almost had this conversation when I saw my partner Randy out here, though, right?
hmm
I think that this is the reason why I think that it's such a big thing because you got to think that we talk about this before, maybe offline on the pod. Like I think that for me, 40 is a number that's kind of that I look at differently from before because when you and I were growing up, I thought 40 was like everything was downhill, right? Yeah, because we didn't grow up seeing no fly 40-year-old guys. I can't think of one, maybe Denzel, Blair Underwood too, but I never saw a fly black dude who I thought was 40, all right?
Right.
And so I think maybe it's because when I look at that, I'm thinking like, well, dang, you know what? If you are in pretty good health, pretty good shape, right? And you 57 years old, you knocking on 60, like maybe these 60s, these late 50s ain't quite what we think they are because maybe it's how we look at that. We're in our 40s now. So we ain't that far away, right? We 10 plus years away from that. And I think that it's realistic to me to think about. Well, that means that I could see somebody being 60 years old dating someone who a healthy 60-year-old dating a 47-year-old, 45-year-old, a 40-year-old for that matter though, right? I couldn't see that a while back though, bro. It's just it still looked weird to my eye though.
Yeah. Like I said, I just think it depends on the people involved, bro. Because at the end of the day, even some people younger than that would look weird if they weren't compatible mentally. Oh, so yeah, it ain't a bad look, and I know Prime still think he in his prime anyway. So
And I think part of it with her in particular is that because I associate a young her with a young Chris Brown, it just totally puts it in perspective that dang, she's 37. Chris Brown also getting up there in age as well. He's also about 37 or so
38.
though, man. So yeah, so yeah, that's a it doesn't thinking about it now, it doesn't look as odd as it reads on paper. A 20-year difference is a big difference, but for somebody who's knocking on 40, I guess I don't see it as the same way as somebody dating a 20-year-old when you're in your or a 19-year-old when you are 30 years old, 40 years old. That looks different. When you in
Lem-
your mid 30s to late 30s, it balances out to me.
Now, how old is J Lo?
J Lo's like 50.
So if she was pulling somebody that was 30, I mean, we know she's very capable, but if she was dating a 30-year-old right now, would that be a bad look?
He's 30, right? It would if he was in his 20s. If he was
No, no, no,
25.
no, 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 no. I'm telling you the age. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
she
yeah, yeah,
50
yeah.
and he 30.
30, I think people would have something to say about it. You'd have some little snide comments, but um, I think that what would make it look a little different is that I don't know how old are her kids? Like that's my thing. She
Ain't they grown now?
well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying though. Like, I just think that like this. I think that where to me it looks a little weird is when you're dating people that are of the same age or younger than your own kids. That to me is where I think it looks a little creepy.
Yeah,
Like
but
Dion's kids
if
are older, but
Mhm.
not as old as Carucci though.
Yeah,
But she's 50 and she's dating a 30-year-old. I don't think that that's as I think that it just depends. I don't think it's as bad because you think about it though, right? We gonna be 50 in 5 years. That means that somebody who's 25 right now would be able to get it.
yeah.
So I don't know, bro.
I
It
mean,
is, but
somebody 22 can get it right now too. I don't know what you talking about.
nah, bro. You got kids that are you got kids that are older than that.
So what they
No
got to do
way.
anything? I ain't trying to wife her.
No
I
way.
ain't trying to wife her.
No way. No way. You know, some hot ones out there though, bro. I can't.
22
It
year
ain't.
old. Yeah, I would.
It don't.
And they'd be look
Nah,
and they'd be
bro.
looking at Deuce like that. That's how you supposed to do it.
Oh my gosh, bro. I don't know, man. And they still look like babies to me though, bro. They
Nah,
still
not
look
no.
like kids.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like we went to man, like the other day, bro. I went to the oh man, that's a perfect example. Two things that tells you that what my eyes have seen. I was hooping with a girl, and when I play with this girl though, I haven't lost but one game, and I played with her maybe four different times, and we went undefeated. And dog, she looks like a baby. She's like 14 years old. I thought she was like a freshman in high school. She says, "Nah, I'm 20 years old. I'm about to be 20 by the end of the year, or something like that." And I was just floored because she looks so like she has a very baby face. And then
Yeah.
fast forward the other day, I'm out. We go to the gas station real quick, and I saw some young cats that were going in there in the store and everything, and I was just blown away. I'm like, bro, they look like they every bit of 18. They look so young. And so that's what I said, 20, 21, 22 is still a very young looking person.
It just
25.
it depends on who it is though, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like it's all everything is all it's situational. It's not a blanket statement. It ain't every
It's
20.
almost blanketed to me. It's for me,
Okay, for
25.
me, yeah, for me, it's definitely dependent on who the person is. And it's again, if we talk about just smashing, bro, it's different. Like it's complete difference. I ain't trying to be, I am not trying to be Shannon Sharp out here, bro.
Like, what's that? That's crazy, by the way. But here's my thing. Like, a perfect example of that to me is that Haley Bailey, she's still like Chloe looks like she's a young woman, right? And I believe she's about 25. So to me, she looks sexy to me, right? But the little sister still looks like she could pass for a 14, 15-year-old to me. And so for me, she's like cute. She could eventually be that, but she looks so young to me though, bro,
Yeah.
that nah, man, I couldn't get over how young she looks. And don't get me wrong, I think that it's a beautiful thing that somebody has a very youthful looking face for as long as possible. But yeah, when you look like you 15, when you look like Landon can date you though, man, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. Well, let's transition on over, bro. Unfortunately, we had about four that I know of celebrity deaths. We talked a little bit about Malcolm Jamal Warner and the untimely passing through drowning. We got obviously a little bit more detail since then. Ozzy Osbourne, and then the immortal Hulk Hogan, which was very
Mm.
controversial to a lot of people, which we'll get into. And the other person was I don't know the gentleman's name, but he was there was I think a popular show or something he was on, but a trumpet player or something.
Yep.
I off the top I can't think of the gentleman's name, but condolences to everybody's family. But like I said, we do wanted to talk about the Hogan one because that seemed to be a big conversation, especially amongst the black community. Uh, just on who he was and how polarizing things got toward the end. And but then looking back at his accomplishments or what he was known for and our childhood. And so let me ask you this. What was your thoughts on Hogan passing?
Okay, so I do think that it's unfortunate. Like, I think that it's unfortunate for the most part that when people pass away within reason, we saying that, right? Like that's the one thing. But I think that the part that the Hulk Hogan, what makes it so different for me on what I think about it is what I knew of him to be my childhood, all the way up until here recently, right? As an adult, how he just how so many people based off of his action pivoted what they thought about him, because it was when we became adults that we start to hear like the stories about Hulk Hogan, right? About the black men, the black guys, and that his girl was dating. And so I think that that happened when we were older, right? The leaked conversation, I think it was that they had, right? But then I think the part that gets me the most is this though, bro. Like, I think, and this is gonna not to get too political on this,
Mm-mm.
but I believe that Donald Trump is racist, right? That's just what I believe, right? And so when you then have had a past where you have said some very racist things because you use the hard R, right? And then you ask for forgiveness at the time. I believe he came out and made some kind of statement, if I'm not mistaken, right? But then you then align yourself with the racist, then that's where I would understand if somebody was like, I don't want to see a racist thrive at anything. I don't want to see a racist thrive in life, the afterlife. I don't care to see a racist win whatsoever. Right. So I can understand then why some people would be like, yeah, what he did in my childhood was great. But this version of him that I last saw, nah, he could have jumped off a bridge anyway, right? I'm not mad at someone for having that stance though, bro. The minute that you tried to make amends for something in your past and then you double down on it by standing next to someone where that's the base of their his platform, that's his fans. Nah, bro. Like, so I'm not. I do feel terrible that someone died, but I'm not incredibly mad about it. I'm not like, I'm not. I didn't in my childhood didn't take a blow to memory. None of that though, bro.
Yeah, so I think the problem I had, like again, I don't have a problem with people expressing their opinions on how they felt about it because he was a public figure, so publicly people are gonna say what they feel. I think I just had an issue with people wishing him death or wishing him to die. Like or grateful that he did. I think that's the part
Oh,
that was a little too far from me personally. Because my thing is this, yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. It's kind of the conversations we've had even about like R. Kelly, or at some point in time we had conversations about Diddy, right? These people who have done things but also shaped a portion of your life, and so you remember those things and being able to separate that person from those actions. I always look at it like I enjoyed Hulk Hogan, but I didn't rock with the boy Terry Bollea, which is his real name. So because that character is what I fell in love with, not the person who he was. And so being able to separate that and understanding like, no, Hogan was a part of my childhood. The movies, the cartoons, the character of the wrestler, the person who became Hollywood Hogan, the NWO, like that person, that's the character, that's who I was rocking with. But Terry, that dude, yeah, he was on something different. But my thing is that a lot of our heroes, even your boy, Ric Flair, we finding out more stuff about him even now. You know what I'm saying? We just had the incident with the whole airplane thing that we just found out about as adults. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we looked at in the closets of all of our heroes, we gonna find some skeletons. And my thing is that we all got skeletons, and at some point when we pass, I hope people remember the good and not the bad. And again, not forgetting, because again, Terry, I ain't rocking with that dude. I was rocking with Hogan. That's where I
see,
was at with it.
I think that this is my thing. I think that the part this is the problem that I have, right?
Mhm.
The only problem that I have with that, and I agree and understand how you would feel, right? I think that the part that I have the issue with is that he didn't do those things as Terry Botha or whatever his name is. He did those under the guise of Hulk Hogan. When he stood next to Donald Trump, he did so as Hulk Hogan, the Hollywood, the real American hero. He didn't say, "Oh, this is Terry out here," right? He didn't do it under that.
He didn't. He used a character to continue to run the celebrity.
Right.
But here's the thing though. Again, the Hogan that I grew up on wasn't the Hogan that stood on the stage with Trump.
He wore the costume
No, he
for
didn't.
the
He didn't.
facade. Listen.
No,
What I'm
no,
saying is that, like I said, he went out there as Hulk Hogan. He said, "This is where I stand politically as Hulk Hogan, the real
no,
American hero."
Charles. He went out there as Hulk Hogan because that's the name he goes by now. What I'm saying is We don't never call Jamie Foxx his real name anymore. We call him Jamie Foxx. So anytime he's in public, he is that's what he's gonna do. All I'm saying is my childhood is tied to the character of Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, not Hulk Hogan, this celebrity that's doing the things that he's doing now. So
Sure,
much
that's
so,
fair.
so much so, even when the WWE brought him back, right? And there was a lot of black wrestlers that had a lot to say and, or whatever. But even the WWE fan base, right? When they had the first Raw on Netflix and they brought Hogan out, they
Booed
couldn't
him
mute
out the
them
building.
dudes. Couldn't
Oh my gosh, they
couldn't mute
could
them.
not.
So, and you and I joked and we talked wrestling terms and we said the only way that boy was gonna get over was for him to die. And sure enough, they had the tribute and it was all the Hogan shirts and the Hogan, posters and everything. So
Now listen, I'm gonna be honest with you though, bro. Okay, I don't believe I can't think of another person, and maybe this happened so much later in his life that he had more good showing in his lifetime because he was what 70 years old or so.
he was
So,
73,
but yeah,
71,
so
79.
this is the yeah, so 71. So here's the thing. Maybe you say publicly he was the Hulk Hogan that you remember for 50 years, right? So by the time you say that if he died at 71, right? That puts you and I at goddamn he was already 30 some years old when we first was introduced to him and everything like that. So that's all of our childhood. We knew the starting at 30 something year old Hulk Hogan. All right, that's cool. And I get that you can say, well, most of that lifetime then mean that he was all right, he was solid. I think that the part that would have gotten me the most though, bro, is that if the racist comments about the wrestlers and the guys that his daughter was dating and messing around with, right? If those would have happened when he was no longer wrestling and no longer affiliated with wrestling, right? That would be one thing. But I can't ignore the fact that I saw Hollywood Hulk Hogan actively still say and do those things. And I understand what you're saying, like that you can separate the two. But when you do that, like this is the thing. When he was on a recorded conversation or whatever, that part I will give you. That's Terry. If that's how you feel off camera, off grid, your privacy was violated. I get that. But more than anything, though, bro, is the fact that you had time. We tried to shoot you some bail before, right? And then when the black wrestlers were just like, nah, and the whole black wrestlers comment thing, it's like that happened as Hulk, not Terry. That happened while I was still actively a wrestling fan.
Right. But,
And
but
so
that's
now that I'm still a wrestling fan, to see you align yourself with that after, right? And it will be one thing, right? If you just aligned yourself with him and you didn't have that kind of past, that would be one thing. That tells me that to me, when you were asking for the forgiveness or when you apologized, it was like, nah, that's just how you really felt because you told me that when you have stood next to that man. That's what
well,
that's I
this is
can't shake that though.
the yeah, the 45, 47 stuff. That has that's a whole different because that's not the Hogan I'm talking about. I get that.
I feel you.
What I'm saying is this. I think a lot of it had to do with why we're finding out information about our heroes now is because we didn't have social media back then,
Sure.
right? So everything is a live mic now. You know what I'm saying? And so I also understand anybody that feels the way that you feel. I'm okay with it. The only
Sure.
part I had an issue with was people wishing the death on him.
I
That's
feel
that's where I'm like, like I get you don't like the dude, but wishing death on anybody, like even on my enemies, I ain't wishing them to die.
Oh no, man. I don't know. I don't know. Ace. I don't know. I'm not gonna say never I never wish death on anybody. There are some people though, bro, where if it did, I'd be, yeah,
Well, I've mentioned some people. I said Osama bin Laden, and
No,
and
see,
I'm talking about.
yeah,
Listen, I'm talking about me. I'm not telling how anybody else how they should feel. I'm saying for me, if you out here like killing millions and billions of people,
sure, yeah,
I then I'm like, nah, bro. If it's one life versus all these millions and billions, then I want the one
yeah.
life. That's where I sit with it. But I'm saying, like, just regular enemies of mine, like I said, I still ain't wishing death on them though. That's just where I'm at. But
I'd hate to listen. I'd hate to wish death on someone, especially because of their political views. Like I try to not accept someone's political views, but understand that they just will be different from mine. That's cool.
yeah,
But I think that, I don't know, bro. Like I'm not mad. I could up like this. I think that it got I'm torn on that one. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say I understand why somebody would be like, I wish he was dead. I couldn't wait for him to die. I didn't feel that way about him. But I would understand that to somebody else, if they said no, you know how you would wish somebody would die? He is that guy to them, then at that part I would understand. Not that I feel that way about him.
yeah. I mean, like I said, you got the right to feel the way you want to feel. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like I said, it touched a nerve. Facebook was so divided, bro.
Yeah, it was very. Now let me ask you this though. I think
Yeah,
one of the things that is interesting though, right? I just want to ask this before we hop on.
yeah.
Uh, can we agree that the best Theo moment is the Gordon Gortrell shirt?
I think that's most people are gonna say that. Although somebody brought up a moment the other day that I thought
Mm.
was real dope, where he was basically why you can't be proud of me? Like why
Yeah.
I'm who I am, and I don't have to be a doctor. I don't have to do, and that's the stupidest thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I thought that the reason why I think that that was also more about the concept. The other Theo moment that I think is up there was was the time that Theo finally beat the dad in basketball, right? And he was super excited about it though, man. That's one of the ones that I
yeah.
also remember. Those are probably like my top three Theo moments, though, man. Outside of, and that's just the Theo. There are the other moments that they had with everybody else that I thought was cool, but those are probably my favorite three Theo
The,
moments, though.
the other thing too, man, is I love how consistent he was over the years and still acting. Sarah said she had forgot about Malcolm and Eddie, uh, but
Mhm.
a lot of people were watching him on The Resident uh, here recently, and he's been in like lawyer stuff. Like he's constantly been acting and has uh mature, what I'm saying? Like he didn't just like him as Theo, and that's just all that like you could. I mean, people are still gonna call him Theo, but I'm
Yeah,
saying like he played characters that still let him
he's.
flourish.
I'm gonna tell you this. To me, it was like I can't help that. To me, he was like Dr. Theo, right? He was Theo, the bar owner. He was Theo, different. Like I said, it could be night and day. But I think that you know what it is. I think that it's the voice. It's of course the face, the general mannerism, everything about him that I know is Theo. While I can respect that his acting, he was playing these roles differently. It's to me, it's to me seeing it. It's almost as if I knew him personally as Theo, and that I went on to see him do other things. He's still like, or his name might be, Dr. Swanson in this movie, but his real name is Theo. That's kind of how I always looked at him, though, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think shoot, Rudy probably the same way.
Rudy is the same way, though, man. I think that most people just couldn't tell you her name without somebody reminding you that that's her name, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But it's weird. What's weird about it though is I don't feel that way about uh Lisa Bonet. I
Yeah,
still think this. I still look at her as Lisa Bonet for some reason. Though. I don't look at her like, you know what I'm saying. So, yeah. It's just those two though, man.
yeah. That's kind of like Omari Hardwick. You know, he hates that no matter what, he is ghost to them. Like
And
he
he
is.
was in movies before, but none that stuck like that though, man. It's like the one that, and you know what I think it is. I think that it's the how closely you last remember or you identify him with, and how does he shake that from this? Like he was in Star Trek recently, right? And I was like, hey, that boy Ghost in space now, though, right? That boy Ghost out here on the Star Trek, though. And yeah, I'm one of those, man.
Yeah, because
It's not quite like Morpheus, but it's getting there though.
yeah. Well, it's the same with Tommy. Like I don't even know people know his real name, bro. He Tommy forever, bro.
Well, here's the bad part about it. His real name is Tommy.
No, it's not.
His name is. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking
Ghost.
about Tommy from Martin.
Oh no, yeah. I'm talking about
Okay,
Tommy,
yeah,
Tommy and Ghost. Yeah. I
yeah,
get
yeah,
that.
yeah. Tommy,
Yeah.
Tommy is so Tommy from Martin. He was Tommy in Harlem Nights, and then that's when you first knew him as Tommy, and his real name is Thomas. And then in Martin, everybody then knew him. A whole set of people also introduced him as Tommy. So yeah. He is. But I still don't. I don't know. Tommy Egan. He's always Tommy Egan to me
Oh
though,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh so moving on, bro. The boy Luca out here in Men's Health. Out here
Yeah.
cut up.
Yeah.
His wife, I think his wife is she is, I forgot what she is, but something that she kind of like started doing meal preps and stuff for him. And I guess the gym that he, works out in every summer, he ended up, flying in some weights and stuff, and he's been at it, man. And I guess the Lakers finally got through to him on what coach said, that everybody needed to be accountable. So, you know,
Let me ask you this. What do you think? How much of a difference do you think it's gonna make for his play this season?
I think he will be on the court all season.
Okay.
Um, I definitely think this will help with, alleviating some of those ankle injuries. And, I just don't think he'll be as injured, because I think his body is in very much big conditioning, because most people have said that he plays himself in shape in the
Mhm.
season, kind of like how James Harden did that one season when he was trying to put it to was it Philly or
Rock,
Houston? Yeah.
Rockets, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's gonna show that way. I just didn't want it to be like a Christoph Porzingis, where we saw that picture of Christoph Porzingis in the offseason all dieseled up, and then in the regular season he looked like regular Christoph. So uh, I'm
Listen,
hoping.
I think that this is the thing about it, right? Um, this is the thing I think that's interesting. I just thought that as a basketball player, right? That you play basketball so much, even in the off season, that I just thought that it should be easy to maintain, right? You play basketball for a living and you clocking up miles. And this is the thing I think that's crazy though, bro. Like when you really think about it, right? When you are playing basketball, competitive basketball, I saw something. I'm doing this challenge at my job, right? Where you are clocking how many miles you're running. And they say that in an hour, of you playing competitive basketball, you have ran about 7.5 miles, right? So if
Mhm.
you're playing a full NBA game, that's about 2 hours of basketball. That's 15 miles that you basically would have ran. And then that's not including the prep, right? The warming up, the workouts and everything. That's just the game. And so you would like to think, yeah, it should be easy because all you're doing is just always constantly moving. So that tells me like how much you really got to be eating for you to be a fat NBA player, though, bro. Like your calorie deficit has to be non-existent, right? And so I just like to think that he got it. I agree with you though, man. I think that to start the season off though, man, I think you're gonna see Luca come out and he's gonna be putting out ridiculous gaudy numbers because I think that he should be a step, not to say he's ever was fast, but I think that he should just naturally be a little bit more athletic because he doesn't look like he's carrying around as much weight, just overall flat out weight. He looks like he's about 15 at least 15 pounds lighter though, right? And so I think that the concern that I have then, right, is not even so much as just to start the season. Now, it's down the road when you are on the road, and people are always saying that, hey, when you hit the road and you are outside of your normal routine and you don't got your normal chefs around and this, that, and the other, like maintaining that on the road is where I think that people have found that challenging, though, bro. But it is good to see though, man, because like I said, I'm seeing him get this slim, and you know who I don't see this slim? I don't see Zion back to his Duke weight at all, though, bro. So I'm just like, it does tell me that he's taking his that aspect of his game very serious. That I still haven't seen that from Zion, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Zion is out here wanting to look like a basketball player, but he don't want to actually like do basketball. Like, he want the benefits of being an NBA player. You got the bread. He gets the ugly tattoos. He does all this other stuff, but it's like and maybe he's doing it, but I haven't seen Zion look like his Duke size in since 2 years after he got to the NBA, bro. It's like once he hurt himself, he's never been in that kind of shape at all, though, bro. And I think that's what it's going to take. And so I can commend Luca because I've always been blown away when he comes back in the off season fat. Like I thought that's when you train to get ready for the season, though, bro. And it's like, yeah, maybe you're training, you're working on your jump shot, but it ain't about your conditioning. So I don't know, man. But it's good to see because I'm just talking about somebody who plays basketball year round. And it's like I don't think I gain as much weight because I'm always at it though, bro. That's why I'm like, how much are you eating though, bro, to be a fat NBA player mid-season, bro? It's a lot of calories, man.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I hope nothing but the best for Luca outside of beating the Thunder. That's about it.
And I thought it was fake. I almost thought, listen, them pictures of him Photoshop, and then I saw him recently at a Yankees game with Aaron Judge, and he looked cut up though. He looks little. He looks real slim on there though, bro. I was like, all right, I want to see how that works to his advantage if he can no longer use his weight to get to his spots, right? That
Right.
was where I want to see. Like, I hope he don't fall off on that aspect of posting up because now he's not as big though, man.
Right. Same. I still want him to look like Luka. That way, if Shea win MVP again this year, then it ain't no excuse.
Now, what if Luca comes out there with a whole new bag? Like I thought that Luca, he's shifty, but I'm saying, what if Luca got out there and just comes out with like a bag? Like maybe you don't got to have a bag if you could get to your spots and nobody can stop you from getting to your spot. But golly, if he came back in the offseason with the jumper and then he had a bag, oh my gosh, he'd really be unstoppable though, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you got going on for the week, man?
Bro, still dealing with this car situation. Just got the update on it. So dealing with that. And then, like I said, just still writing and tweaking and getting everything ready for the state fair.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm this week I'm back and I started this week back in I started writing, right? And I'm always I think I may say this every 3 months now for this Bel Air 3, but I got 5 songs left to record though, man, and it's always another 5. But I got these 5 songs, man, that I think that if I can go ahead. So I started, I think I wrote everything I want to say to them. That's kind of how I got to do it. And then now I'm putting it all together still. And then now I'm back in the lab working on some other production, some ones that I think are pretty dope though, man. Trying to help the boy PBR finalize his project as well, and we're getting a little bit closer there as well. So I'm thinking that a lot of FTMG stuff going on for the rest of the week though, man. Should be pretty dope.
That's what's up. Well, look, man, I know it's a little bit short of a podcast, but we gonna leave y'all with about 10 minutes today. We love y'all from ATL to OKC. We are the Slash Brothers, and we will see y'all on the next one.
time.
Sucker.